Rockabye, baby. Happy Easter, man. 24 hours away from the boy's birthday, and it is going down. It has been an unbelievable 24 hours in sports. We had WrestleMania the other day, yesterday, part one. Day two was the night. Then we had the Lakers and the Timberwolves. I don't know what's going on, and I don't want to give myself that much credit. I don't want to give Lakers land this much credit. But every time we do not watch the Lakers game in the playback room, the Lakers lose. Every time we do not host the Lakers game in the playback room, they wind up losing. We were scheduled to lock in last night and it didn't happen. And I don't know what's going on, but our team got blew out last night at home, game one, just pathetic. And man, you don't really want to sum up a season within one game. But, I don't know about y'all. Are y'all concerned? It's only one game, but to me, it was a big game. It was a statement game. Minnesota is not nothing to play with. If I'm not mistaken, this team went to the Western Conference Finals last year. Um, Anthony Edwards, I was looking at him. He lives for this moment. Remember what he did in the first round last year to Kevin Durant and the Phoenix Suns. This kid truly lives for this moment. And man, I didn't get to watch the game in its entirety last night, but they had the Lakers looking very, very like mediocre. Definitely nowhere near championship team. And I said earlier in the week, I'm not really concerned about Luka, LeBron, or Austin Reeves for that matter. The most important thing in my eyes is going to be the role players. What can the role players do? And if I'm not mistaken, I think the Lakers bench got outscored maybe about 30 to 40 points last night to the Timberwolves. The Minnesota Timberwolves, I think they either made or shot 21 threes. It was just a recipe totally for disaster that I don't think the Lakers expected. And it hit them like a ton of bricks. Hopefully we get some get back Tuesday night. But, this was just a not so good look for the Lakers. But, hopefully they can figure out a way to bounce back. All that Lakers and five stuff that Shannon Sharp was talking, I think all that is pretty much, we can throw that out the window. The chances of this Laker team winning 4 straight against the Minnesota Timberwolves, to me, is laughable. And I would need to probably talk to the bosses because somebody needs to be drug tested over there at ESPN.
You smoke crack, don't you? You smoke crack, don't you?
But I did want to take a couple minutes. I'm not going to hold y'all too much. I really don't go live here, so I'm starting to figure out a schedule and a rotation and certain type of topics that we can kind of tackle when we go live here on our YouTube channel. So shout out to everyone who might pop in on the live stream and might catch us on the playback in the replay of this show. But I wanted to tap into this afternoon with an interesting topic, especially since we're in the first round of the Western Conference Finals facing the Minnesota Timberwolves. I wanted to talk about why the first round matters so much in the NBA playoffs. Why does the first round matter so much in the NBA playoffs? Welcome back, y'all, to Lakers Land. I'm Seven Mitchell, your host. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Definitely appreciate all your guys' support. Now, when we talk about the importance of the first round of the playoffs, whether it's the Eastern Conference or the Western Conference, I think the first round of the NBA playoffs is so important, so detrimental for 3 reasons, 3 main reasons that I want to kind of go ahead and talk about this afternoon when we lock in and speak on the importance of the first round. I think a lot of people, especially those who have not followed the NBA for years, they sleep on the first round. I think dealing with an 82 game season and then you got the tournament and so much going on. A lot of new fans have not really embraced the importance, and even some old fans have not embraced really the importance, I believe, of the first round, not just for the Lakers. I'm just meaning in its entirety. So I got this kind of broken down into three categories, and I want to kind of talk about these three reasons I feel like the first round of the NBA playoffs is so important. So let's get to the first one. It's going to be pretty much the first round, in my opinion, sets the tone for the playoffs. When you look at just this organization and this franchise alone, go back to 2020 during the bubble. The way the Lakers set the tone early on in the tournament, you know, they were looking like they were going to be competing for a championship. And I think that the first round, um, historically, when you look at the Miami Heat of 2012, like I said, the Lakers and, the Denver Nuggets of 2023, all of those teams pretty much dominated early, if I'm not mistaken. They got to it quick, fast, in a hurry, and I think that that's very important. Teams that struggle early on in the playoffs seem to not have good opportunities to go far in the playoffs, and I'm willing to bet, because when you're in the playoffs now in the NBA, the game slows down more to a half court game. You're facing one team for up to a 7-game series, so they're able to study your strengths and weaknesses very, very much so. So you really need to start setting the tone, getting a good pace in the first round, no matter where your seeding is. But I think that teams definitely struggle early, and they rarely go all the way if they don't start off the first round of the playoffs. So if you have a team out there that's in the playoffs and in the first round, they're not looking so competitive, you definitely need to be worried. Not so much that they might get eliminated that round, but history shows teams that struggle at the first round rarely ever goes far. Then you got to think about the mental and the physical fatigue if a series goes 6 or 7 games in the first round. Like, can you imagine LeBron and Luca and Anthony Edwards and them having to battle it out for a 7-game series in this first round? I mean, I think guys are up for it eventually, but this is, again, just the first round. Then you got to get into the semifinals, and then the conference finals, and then the NBA finals. And who knows what those opponents are going to be? Who knows where you're going to be playing? Who knows? It's just a lot of unanswered questions when we talk about the first round and the importance of it. And I think it can definitely take its toll mentally and physically with these 6 and 7 game series early on. And when you're one of the top seeds in the playoffs and you get pushed to the 6th or 7th game, anything goes. Like, records and all that stuff kind of goes out the window. And really, at that point, it's really about who wants it the most. So, I really feel like, man, topic number one when we talk about why the first round is so important, because it sets the tone. You get out early, you start dominating early, chances are you'll go far. If you struggle early in the playoffs, chances are you won't. And the 6 and 7 game uh, series in the first round, history's also shown that it has its effect physically and mentally on the strongest and the weakest of players. But y'all let me know, overall, which team in your eyes so far, we only got one game really in the playoffs, but what team needs a dominant first round the most, at least in the Western Conference? Are the Lakers the team that needs to dominate the most? I mean, watching what happened last night, uh, it already looks to me it's going to be a dogfight. You losing at home the way you lost at home, you can't get that back. You really can't. So I think that's interesting, but I think the first round definitely sets the tone, um, and I think that's why that is so important for that the that series in every playoff. Um, Next up, I would probably say is legacy games. You, for the most part, will find superstars and stars make a name for themselves or start to pick up that momentum in the first round, because you got all the narratives and the storylines coming out of the regular season, all the media, all the fan base, everybody has all types of narratives and questions. Can Jason Tatum carry Boston to another finals, or is Jalen Brown the real leader of the Boston Celtics? How much does LeBron have left in the tank? Like all these, will Giannis be able to bounce back? All these, you know, narratives and storylines, superstars and stars are able to really get their legacy going in the first round of the playoffs. I think that's why that is very, very instrumental for the stars and the superstars of the NBA playing in, the postseason. Like you look at Kevin Durant and the Phoenix Suns last year. I mean, they got KD, Devin Booker, Bradley Beal, and we saw what Anthony Edwards did to them last year. And I'm not blaming it strictly on that series, but Phoenix just didn't bounce back from that loss last year. They never turned it around. And Kevin Durant, as much respect as you have for him, it's not a good look on his resume the way things are going and the way Phoenix flamed out last year and this year. It's definitely not a good look. And some will say, KD's legacy will be impacted by that first round performance last year and, just the lack of presence in the playoffs this season. So, what star, in y'all opinion, I would say has the most to prove in the first round? If you ask me, just sticking to the Western Conference, Shea Gildress Alexander has done his thing all year. He's been consistent. He more than likely will get the MVP, but I feel like he needs to definitely lock the door when we talk about and that's a regular season award, but I feel like he just needs to lock the door when we talk about competition. His first round matchup is against Ja Morant. I know they in the Memphis Grizzlies. I know they won't be pretty much locking in with each other all game, but I think that's a very instrumental young matchup. Memphis has the playoffs experience that OKC does not. And I think that's going to matter. But overall, at the end of the day, I think the Thunder have the better team. But I do think that Shea Gildress Alexandra has the most to prove as a star in the Western Conference, just to pretty much solidify his spot. So, topic number one, when we talk about why the first round is so important in the playoffs, I say is setting the tone. Number two is, legacy games start early. Superstars and stars, a lot of narratives and storylines get created in April at the beginning of the playoffs. And last but not least, why the first round is so important in the NBA playoffs, y'all, I would probably say is simply upsets. This is where upsets happen. Upsets happen here in the first round. I remember, I don't know how long you guys have been watching basketball, the playoffs. I remember when the Denver Nuggets, when they had Dikembe Mutombo at an eighth seed, if I'm not mistaken. I think they upset was it the Seattle Supersonics? I think it was a 1-8 in the first round. And at that time, it might have been the best of five series, I think. But I remember when the Denver Nuggets had an eighth seed knocked off that number one, um, how much weight was put on that. When you look at both franchises, that really was a huge, huge deal. Some teams have not been able to bounce back from upsets and things like that. You have to wonder, could the Thunder, a team that has been winning the majority of their games this year, are they still in danger because of the lack of playoff experience? And the competition, those guys have been there before. You got Steph in them, you got LeBron in them, you got Denver. It's a lot of playoff experience in that Western Conference, and I put a lot of respect on the regular season, but I just feel like it is two different ball games and matchups in the playoffs are more important than the records. I know that sounds weird when you're doing fantasy draft. When you talk about the numbers, you're betting your house money on who you feel like is favorite. But again, in the playoffs, it turns into a half court game. Everything slows down. Some you get to study your opponent because you're playing them up to 7 times. It, the matchups, if you can find some good mismatches, records don't matter. There's nothing that the other team is going to be able to do to neutralize or contain what is happening in real time within a week of the series. So if you can find two good matchups, mismatches, regardless of the personnel in the playoffs, that is a huge advantage. And I think that's what the Lakers need to look for tomorrow or Tuesday night, because I didn't see the game yesterday. But the Lakers need to figure out what matchups are truly at an advantage for LA. I saw Luca, giving Mike Conley, giving those guys the blues. But that's expected, and I said before, I'm not really concerned about Austin, LeBron, and Luca. We know what they're going to bring to the table. The Lakers role players yesterday, I believe, got outscored by like 20 to 30 points. Totally unacceptable. And history has always shown, whether it's been LeBron in Cleveland, LeBron in Miami, or even LeBron with LA in 2020. For the most part, you cannot win a championship or make a valid championship run without your role players stepping it up. Every championship really is the story every year is almost based around a role player really stepping up and hitting big shots in big moments. And I think that the Lakers dropped the ball in so many different pockets yesterday when you look at the final score. And, the first round, it's not about records anymore. If you can get a mismatch, who can guard Anthony Edwards? Shout out to Austin Reeves. We've been praising Austin Reeves. I've been praising Austin Reeves all year. I feel like he's on that trajectory to be an all-star, but he's still a liability on defense. And Anthony Edwards is going to eat his food. And if the Lakers can't do nothing with that, bro, it's going to be, definitely a problem. It's going to be a problem. So at the end of the day, that's how I feel why the first round is so important in the NBA playoffs. I don't know what y'all think, but I feel like it sets the tone the most. I feel like, legacy games are created because so many storylines are happening as soon as the regular season are over. When we talk about the stars, how is Luke and LeBron going to play together in the playoffs? Like all those things, um, guys really build their legacy off of changing those narratives in that first round of the playoffs. And then again, like I said, last but not least, this is where the upsets happen. The first round is so people are always on the edge of their seats because anything goes. Yeah, man. Y'all let me know. Like I said, we've only had one game. With the Lakers, pretty much we've only had one game. But did have y'all gotten any feel watching any playoff game over the weekend? If y'all have gotten any game 7 energy from any of these first round series, let me know in the live chat. Let me know in the comment section if y'all have gotten a game 7 vibe or energy from any of these games so far in the first round. I mean, all of this Lakers in 5 that Shannon Sharp was talking is just pathetic, ridiculous. I think we can definitely throw that out the window. The Lakers winning 4 straight after the performance last night, to me, I think at the end of the day, would be kind of laughable, but still a lot of basketball to play. We locked in Tuesday night. Hopefully, we can turn things around. Uh, but it's a must win. It is a must win. The Lakers cannot just afford to play better Tuesday. They can't. They have to put it all on the table. They're going to need help from the referees. They're going to need help from the fans. This is a must win for LA. They cannot afford to go to Minnesota down 0-2. No way. No way. I'm about to get up out of here, y'all. I just wanted to come through real quick and chop it up with y'all. Like I said, man, I need to start doing a little bit more live streams. So I will come up with a schedule and, I'll do some live streams here on YouTube a couple days a week. But, y'all guys get in the comment section and let me know on the playback. What do y'all think about why the first round matters the most in the NBA playoffs? Like I said, Joe, I just feel like it sets the tone, for the league. And number one, number two, the legacies, the narratives that are painted, the pictures that are painted. The stars of the NBA are either able to solidify those stories or shut them down. And it usually happened in the first round. So, that's where I'm at with it. And I'm just hoping that, our boys can make some type of turnaround. Shout out to Adam in the building. Adam says LeBron is still number one, not Luka. And I agree. I think you and I are probably on that boat alone because so many people are just so stuck on what's brand new and not really the reality of it. Luka is definitely doing his thing. I think eventually, Luka will be the 1A on this organization. That's how it should be set up. But right now, clearly, you can see that LeBron's aura, his presence, not just LeBron's production, because LeBron, he hasn't really been cooking like that. But his leadership, all of that is still intact. All of that is still very important. And I agree with Adam. That's why LeBron, this is still LeBron James's team. And I think it's going to take some time. Not that long for Luka to adjust. I will say I feel like Luka will take the role of leadership faster than Anthony Davis will. I'll say that much. We've been crying for AD to take the keys to for a minute. AD, I just don't think is built like that. I don't think we'll have that problem out of Luka. Luka will be willing to, take over. But LeBron is either going to have to leave or just continue to beat it in his head. Luka, this is your team. You do what you do. It's just going to take some time. It's just going to take some time. And that's a fact. LeBron led, franchises to 10 finals. And this is the thing why I feel like LeBron James is so great, bro. LeBron has taken 3 destinations, three to NBA finals. Not one finals appearance. Well, the Lakers, they went to the finals one time. But he has taken 3 destinations to NBA finals and won them and was the best player on the team. Shout out to the Jordans of the world. Shout out to the Kobe's of the world. Shout out to all the other greats that we have seen in this game that we love called basketball, yo. But to have a man take 3 franchises, Eastern Conference and Western Conference, the early 2000s, the mid 2000s, pandemic. I mean, come on, bro. LeBron has been doing his thing, but Luka, we got to give Luka time. We got to give Luka time. People don't realize, even though Luka has played a lot of basketball, he's only 26 years of age. This is his his 6th, 7th year into the NBA. I think right now is the time Luka need to be focusing on an MVP. Getting his first regular season MVP. The way things are looking, I think everything is good though. I think everything is good. I think Luka more than likely will be staying with the Lakers. I don't see them dropping the ball with him. We just got to figure this thing out. Again, in my eyes, and looking at the box score and the final score last night, we wasting our breath talking about LeBron and Luka. We need to be talking about the role players. We need to be talking about the other guys. That's who lost the game for us last night. The bench lost the game for us last night. The JJ Redick's coaching, um, from what I seen, wasn't nothing to be excited about. But we'll figure this thing out. We have no choice. Game 2 is 10 o'clock Tuesday. Y'all know we are live streaming all of our Lakers games in our playback room. So if you guys have the Playback TV app, make sure that y'all come on over to Lakers Land on Playback and follow our playback room. That's playback.tv/Lakers Land Show. We stream all of our Laker games there. We got free VIP access. So if you guys want to come and kick us with the playoffs, man, come on through. Check out some of the watch parties. But y'all let me know overall what y'all think and why the first round of the NBA playoffs is so important. I feel like it set the tone. I feel like legacy games are started early in the playoffs, and the first round is where all the upsets happen. That's why it is so important that you get off to a good start in the first round, whether you are the Lakers or anybody. It means a lot. All right, people, I am Seven Mitchell. Like, comment, and subscribe. Do remember, if you guys would like to support this platform, become a member right now. Join the membership for only 99 cents. We're running a special. We got exclusive members only content, and we're going to be dropping a lot more exclusive content for you guys in the playoffs. Shout out to the homie NC. Said game 1, we not done yet. We just getting started. That's a fact. They got to figure it out because they didn't look good last night. They didn't look good last night. All right, guys, I am signing off. Y'all stay safe. I'll catch y'all tomorrow for sure. Peace.